Hello everyone, and welcome to game number 1 in our best of 3 series between Gameslayer and Junithorn. Both of our players made sure to set expectations low before popping in here. Gameslayer claiming game is 100% random, and there was no skill in it whatsoever, and Junithorn claiming that he was born the wrong species. So it'll be interesting to see which player is experiencing more of a negative impact from the particular problems they've got going on today. Getting into the actual game, there is dry ice literally over this entire map. It is not possible to found without dry ice. Despite this fact, Gameslayer has decided that he wants to grab up some mediocre carbon a fair distance from his base and try to make that work for upgrades, whereas Junithorn, he has chosen to drop adjacent to the adjacent geotherms, press into some very standard expansive stuff with a steel mill, or 2 steel mills, and some iron. I am worried he is going to need to buy up aluminum very quickly before Gameslayer kind of spots this situation and kills him for it. However, it doesn't look like Gameslayer has any intent on doing that just yet. There it goes. That's that aluminum price being driven sky high. Junithorn's going to be having a problem with that, unless he really gets on it quickly. We'll just have to see how it goes. You can see he's struggling to buy up all the aluminum he needs. Gameslayer making sure to keep that price nice and high until he has the resources to actually go ahead and expand. So already, you can see Gameslayer actually taking a significant, like a serious lead at this phase of the game. And also making just a nice tidy profit off of it. That expansion, he's going to grab up the water right next to Junithorn. That's probably going to be frustrating for Junithorn, but not much to do about it when your opponent beats you to that expansion. Also grabbing some silicon, and what are we going to see last, Gameslayer? Is it going to be more carbon? Is it going to be a random geotherm? Is it going to be one of these geotherms? I'd kind of be okay with that, actually, but geotherms always may be a bit questionable in 1v1. Alright. Claim auction popping on up. After this, we'll go ahead and take a look at black market and maybe try and cover Offworld prices a little bit earlier this time. So I don't really know who needs this worse. On the other hand, Junithorn can definitely afford it a bit better than Gameslayer can at the moment. Gameslayer not going to let it go cheaply, though. He does want that extra claim. That'll put him only 1 behind Junithorn once Junithorn has hit HQ level 2, which just happened. So not too bad a situation for Gameslayer. Also, this extra claim lets him potentially move into something like a couple glass furnaces, just small bits of production a lot more easily when you've got 2 claims than the 1. What is he going to do, though? Looks like he's going to take another carbon, going for the high carbon this time. So he's ended up with a low, a medium, both of those with adjacency, and then a high. That's interesting. Let's go ahead and take a look at the black market. We do have hologram spies, pirates, magnetic storms, power surges, network viruses, mutinies, and goon squads. Not necessarily the most powerful black market we've seen in these games. Might be a bit unfortunate for Gameslayer long term, but he is going to get aggressive with it quickly, throwing a power surge on over at Junithorn, just shutting down some of that vital steel production. Just keeping Junithorn knocked down. Gameslayer's pretty much developed himself a nice solid lead at this point. And Junithorn doesn't necessarily have a strong way to hit back, but he is going to choose pirates very quickly, try and take away some of Gameslayer's carbon. I don't know exactly how that's going to go. Gameslayer has an awful lot of carbon coming in. It's not worth all that much. Obviously, carbon, a crucial resource for a scavenger, but not necessarily the worst thing for Gameslayer already. Junithorn, I don't think, has actually claimed any aluminum yet this game, and that is definitely something he's going to have to get on. Oh, wow, actually, he sent a claim all the way out here to take this medium aluminum. I am not sure about that. That is a very long ways away from his base. That's about, I think that is the farthest I have ever seen someone take a claim away from their base on a small map. I will, say on a small map, but it does not get much farther than that. I mean, really, that's interesting. That, I think, is going to slow Junithorn down pretty significantly, and he has also decided to go into a wind turbine. Both of our players apparently a bit tired right now. That's understandable. That excuse was also one of the ones thrown out by Gameslayer earlier today. So it's very, very late for them, as I understand it. They're trying to get this game in before the deadline. They're playing a lot later than they meant to, but we'll just see what happened. This claim over here. That's really amusing me quite a bit. Gameslayer has pushed HQ level 3, taken a couple of reactors and a couple of geotherms with adjacency. That's going to be a really, really, really strong lead for him. Unfortunately, taking these geotherms kind of makes it a bit harder for him to actually consistently attack. Junithorn apparently able to see a little bit of what's going on. But it is going to make it a little bit harder for Gameslayer to attack in right here and utilize his power surges, especially if Junithorn... I don't know, guys. This is kind of awkward. Like, it's nice to take it away from Junithorn, no doubt, but he is going to be shutting down his own power now with power surges most of the time. I'm just going to keep staring at this and make people uncomfortable. Look at this claim. It's right in the corner, too. Like, how awesome is that? Ridiculous. Gameslayer getting into that Kim shortage, just a little bit better than Junithorn did. Junithorn did manage to secure a little bit of water next to his base at $15 a piece. It's not too bad. These reactors are really where it's at, though, right now, this game. I mean, the geotherms are great, whatever, like, power is kind of okay. But look at this, and I love this especially because look at the ridiculous fuel cost of utilizing this tile. That's $36 in fuel. $36 in fuel in order to ship a little patch of aluminum. Now, aluminum's worth it. You got to have aluminum in the 1v1 matchup, no question about that, or your opponent will just straight up kill you. But, oh man, that's a lot of fuel. And that's just feeding Gameslayer at this point with his reactors. I think Gameslayer might very easily be able to, on upgrade HQ4, take like another water tile out here, throw down 3 farms, and just kind of glide through the rest of this game very, very easily. He's going to use the black Junithorn, actually. Kind of selling stuff down, seeing what he can do. Hasn't bought into his glass just yet to hit HQ level 3. I don't know how Gameslayer pulled this off, by the way, but he is in D levels of debt already. That is super impressive. There have been 2 auctions this game. 2 auctions. He's got adjacent geotherms, and he's still dying to debt somehow. How do people do this? I do this all the time, too. I don't understand how it happens. But it certainly does. Oh, that's just ridiculous. He's back up to that C level. Good stuff. He's got to keep that going. He can't be falling down to D levels of debt already this game. Junithorn actually going to grab a mutiny to attack with and going after the reactor. That is going to be a fair amount of money away from Gameslayer. I don't mind it all that much. Let's see, Gameslayer's already got the glass he needs to upgrade. Junithorn has the upgrade. Press the button. Press the button. Press the button. He did it. Okay, good. HQ level 3. What can Junithorn do with it? 4 claims available. Going to go into a little extra steel, is understandable. 3 more claims left. He's going to have to get something done with this, and I don't think a wind turbine is really where it's at just now with his opponent feeding so much power into the market. What else can he do when he's an entire HQ level behind? Gameslayer going into some reactors, and then he's just going to choose some glass furnaces. I think that's very, very reasonable at this stage of the game. He's already got the silicon secured. He's already consuming a fair amount of water. Oh, and of course, there's a fuel shortage going to be going down right now. You guys, look at these guys. They're just friends. They're like, hey, look, do we really want to attack each other? I don't think we really want to attack each other. Let's just build our bases together. That way we can get rid of some of that scavenger bonus. How does that sound? It's an interesting way to play out the game, certainly. Oh, yep. There it is. Good freeze onto a fair amount of Junithorn stuff, but Gameslayer freezing his own glass for a while. Yeah, it's not really what you're looking for, but it could have been a lot worse. Oh, man. You guys are crazy. Oh, and another reactor. That is a lot of reactors down for Gameslayer, but once again, this is happening. This is all happening all the way to here. Oh, that's crazy. How much is that costing now? I'm just going to keep an eye on this. This is going to be our running tally for this game. $51 of fuel in debt to ship all of this. And yet, despite this fact, Gameslayer is managing to be the one dying to debt right now. Back in that D range, 180,000 with that interest rate hitting. He is going to want to keep paying that off just to make sure he has access to the black market this game. Thankfully for him, he's so far ahead in upgrade levels that he's still probably going to be okay, but it is interesting, always interesting, when a scavenger can't actually utilize the black market. It just makes things difficult, guys. I would love to see a power surge, like, right all over this. All over this right here. Just all up in it. Get rid of this guy. Don't worry about it anymore. Just right on through. It's not like he has a goon squad down. Neither player has touched goon squads yet this game. Gameslayer is going to be the first one to hit HQ level 5. That almost has to be like a water, right? A water or 2 waters, maybe. Maybe 2 waters. And then into some food. And he's going to be rushing to Offworlds pretty fast, but nobody wants perpetual motion this game. Yeah, I mean, $22 power. I can understand that. Like, even with Gameslayer not selling power right now, Junithorn still has more than enough for himself. So, oh man, guys. It's ridiculous. On the bright side, upgrading pulled Gameslayer out of that D bond rating. So his 200,000 almost debt is not punishing him nearly as bad as it could be. Interesting selection on placement of those farms. Gameslayer pretty much guaranteeing that he will never have good adjacency bonuses with these buildings. Always maybe a questionable move, making sure you're never going to have good adjacency, but, you know, you have to hand it to him. He is the one at HQ level 5 this game, so I guess we'll let it go this time. Junithorn has gotten to HQ level 4. Probably will want some farms for himself. Maybe some water for himself as well. Yeah, we can see him taking a little bit of that right now. Water doing pretty good. The reactors are still okay, not really doing a whole lot. Steel is still steel. Glass is really where it's at for what everybody has down right now. Gameslayer hasn't been selling off too much of that, it looks like. Instead, possibly hoarding it. Just trying to push on through to those off-worlds that will easily win him the game. Metal mines are also doing quite a lot of work. Junithorn, obviously, with this very, very weak aluminum the entire game, has been causing him problems in getting through those upgrades, in making money, and in handing just a little bit of extra cash on over to Gameslayer, who has stabilized on debt at 195,000 for the moment. 183,000, trying to pay some of that down before the interest rate hits. Back right down into that D rating, 220,000 debt. I thought that was worth paying attention to. Unfortunately for Junithorn, the off-world market has been constructed. It is protected by the first goon squad that got purchased to this game. Network viruses are available to throw at them. However, I don't think the debt is going to kill Gameslayer in time for Junithorn to survive such a fast off-world. But Junithorn might want to consider trying to extend the length of this game, see if those interest rates can hit Gameslayer hard enough to knock him out of it. Pretty much the only shot he's going to have at all this time, I think. More water also would be amazing. These guys did not take enough water for the sheer amount of production they're going for. So the prices off-world are going to be driven up quite high. Unfortunately for Junithorn, there is a $652 price on the off-world and a $629. So even as those prices go sky high, that's still going to be really, really, really strong profits off the off-world, which has started launching oxygen for Gameslayer. He has enough money that he is pressing into Junithorn's stock right now. One launch is going to be enough for, I believe, probably 2 or 3 more stocks. Maybe 3, actually, off that launch. It is possible. Although fuel being so expensive is kind of restrictive there. And so Junithorn has to very, very quickly purchase up 3 of his own stock. Unfortunately, he just doesn't seem to have the cash for it. He's got some steel sitting around. Water and reactors, I mean, water, fuel, oxygen, they all have some value to them. The reactor's losing money, unfortunately, at this point. The upgrade was available, which raises his stock price, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to even hold on to Gameslayer through the majority buyout. That is sure to come very, 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 very soon. That's going to be a launch, it looks like. Nope, 5 more seconds, sorry. This rocket, he doesn't want to really come out. He's just hanging out. Theoretically, he should be launching. There it is. Look at that. How miraculous. Guys, sometimes the off-world animations just go a little bit wonky. Yep, and that's going to be the game. Right then and there. Off-worlds are good. Go ahead, build them, win the game. Not a problem for Gameslayer that time. Yeah, Junithorn just running too far behind after not taking aluminum at HQ level 1, getting punished for it, taking the aluminum tile, let's see, way over here. I kinda, look, if I were on my own, I would actually take the time to count how many tiles that is. But we don't have to do that. Both these players are tired. They're going to want to move on. We covered most of that game fairly simply. Honestly, I think if either of these players had run into Cubit or Roller, they would have gotten steamrolled almost instantly. But let's see if they can pick it up in game number 2.